Hi folks, Miss Kruger here. I'm going to show you how to create the Andy Warhol effect in Photoshop. So in here I've already opened up my image, and then over here I have the step-by-step directions in the presentation. So the second step is going to be to convert my image into a smart object. So to do that, over in my layers panel, I'm going to click on my menu and I'm going to hit convert to smart object. The next step is going to be to crop my image into a square. So over here I'm going to grab my crop tool, or shortcut key C, and then I'm going to set my ratio to be a square. I'm just going to drag it and crop it where I want. Once I have it placed correctly, I'm going to hit enter or return on my keyboard to accept that change. The next step is going to be to make sure I have my image sized correctly. So to do that, I'm going to go up to image. I'm going to go down to image size. You want to make sure your resolution is set to 72 pixels per inch. This is great, so I'm going to hit OK. The next step for me is going to be to select and mask. So I am going to use the quick selection tool. I'm going to select around myself and then I'm going to mask that selection and feather it. So I'm going to hop on this quick selection, make sure I'm on my plus sign, and I'm going to select all around my face and my hair. And then I maybe selected a little bit too much, so I'm going to get on the minus, and then I'm going to subtract a little bit. Make sure as you're selecting for your assignment that you spend some time and really get a neat selection around your subject. It is going to go against your craftsmanship grade if you have a really sloppy selection that looks really rushed. So I'm just going to take a second here to clean up around my shirt. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, or Command plus, just to make sure I got around my arm and everything okay. Alright, this is a pretty decent selection. So now I'm going to go up top, I'm going to go to select. I'm going to come down to select and mask. I want to start up here, so I'm going to just scroll to the top. I'm going to make sure that my smart radius is at least 9 and that I feathered my selection somewhere between 3 and 5. So let's start by pulling my smart radius out. You're going to need to check this box. Scrolling down, I'm going to go down to feather. I'm going to set mine all the way up to 5. When you feather selections, it's just helping make a smoother, softer edge. You don't need to change any of these presets. The only other thing you're going to need to change is where it says output to. You're going to want to select layer mask. I like all of this. My selection is feathered, I have my smart radius on, it's outputting as a layer mask. I'm going to hit OK. And you can see that layer mask to the right. The next step is going to be to create a new lower layer. To do that, you can command click on your layer icon. So I'm going to command click. I want this lower layer to be white. So I'm going to hit Command Delete on my keyboard, and now my lower layer is white. The next step is I'm going to need to make my image black and white since it's already in color. So I'm going to click back on my image, make sure you have your image and not your layer mask, and I'm going to go to my adjustments and I'm going to turn it black and white. Now I'm going to have to click everything again and make it a smart object one more time. To do that, you can hold down the Shift key on your keyboard. So I'm going to start at this bottom layer. I'm going to hold Shift on my keyboard, and I'm going to select everything. Again, I'm going to go over here and convert it all to a smart object. You'll know it's a smart object because it has this little icon in your layer. Next steps are going to be to start adding our filters. So our first filter we're going to add is the halftone pattern. So I'm going to filter, filter gallery, and where it says sketch, I'm going to make sure and select the halftone pattern. You want your size to be 2, your contrast to be 0, and you want the pattern type to be on dot. This is all correct, so I'm going to hit OK. And now you can see it added, especially if I zoom in, this dotty pattern to my face. We're going to add one more filter. We're going to add an unsharp mask. So I'm going to go to Filter. I'm going to go down to Sharpen, and I'm going to select Unsharp Mask. I want the amount to be at least 500%, and the radius is going to be set to 64 pixels. I like this, so I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to zoom out so you can see some of those changes. The next step, we're going to change the levels to 100, and this is going to really bump up the white. So over in Adjustments, I'm going to select Levels. And over here, where you have your white balance, I'm going to select it to 100. It's really going to brighten it up. The next step, I want to click back on my image, and I'm going to change it from normal to a linear burn. Just a few more steps. I want to make another lower layer, so just like before, I can Command click on my layer icon to make a new lower layer. This time I'm going to select the color I want for my background, and when I hit Option Delete, my background should turn that color. So let's make my background this like teal color. Gonna hit Option Delete, and now my image is that color. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back up to my levels layer, and I'm going to press Option Command G. So if I scroll all the way back to the top and I click on my levels, I'm going to hold down Option Command G. That's going to help simplify my image, clean it up just a little bit. Final steps is going to be to use the pencil tool and to start drawing in the rest of my image. So if I go back down to my lower layer, I'm going to grab a red color, and I'm going to select my pencil tool. Your pencil tool is going to probably be underneath the brush. Using your pencil tool, you can change the size of it up here. You are going to pencil in the hair, and I'm going to do this really quickly to speed up the tutorial, but I imagine you guys are going to do a much smoother job because, again, craftsmanship, cleanliness is important. You're going to do the hair. I'll choose a purple color. You're going to need to color the skin. And again, I'm just really rushing through this. Ladies, you might want to, or gentlemen, you might want to select a color and put some color on the lips or eyelashes and kind of give it the look of makeup. Okay, I'm gonna get my arm purpled. And then I would say the last step for this is I would probably select just one more color, and then I would paint in or pencil in the shirt. Okay, I'm not gonna take the time to do the rest of this just for the tutorial. So let's say I'm totally done. I'm going to make sure and go File, Save As, and then as always, I'm going to want you where it says Format to go ahead and save this as a JPEG instead. That way you can upload it online without any issues. If you have any questions, please let me know. Have a good day.